to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Danielle, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies from the late 90s and early 2000s. This week, we're talking about the 2002 drama Secretary. And just before we start, just want to give a trigger warning. This movie talks about some themes of self-injury, cutting, and is it BDSM?
Mm-hmm.
Look at me knowing my sexual terms. But before we dive into the movie, let's get into some housekeeping. If you love the podcast and you want to support us, here's a few ways you can.
Did you know writing a review and or rating us helps us get more listeners? If you want to be featured and help us grow, head to Apple, Spotify, Podchasers, Good Pods, or your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review.
And if you want to make sure that you're on top of all of our new episodes and get an alert, make sure you hit subscribe on your favorite podcast platform.
Do you want exclusive content, stickers, lives, and access to our Burned Odd Spotify playlist? If that sounds awesome to you, head on over to patreon.com/nomorelatefees and become a Patreon bestie.
Well, let's dive into Secretary. Now, years before we got 50 Shades of Grey, we had Secretary. Lee Holloway, a young woman with a history of severe emotional problems, is released into the care of her overbearing parents following a stay at a mental institution. She finds work as a secretary for a rigid and demanding attorney, E. Edward Grey, and starts dating the kind but dull Peter. However, Lee soon realizes she's turned on by Grey's stern demeanor and begins a sadomasochistic relationship with him. The movie stars James Spader, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Lesley Ann Warren, Jeremy Davies, and Oz Perkins. The movie was directed by Steven Shainberg, and the screenplay was written by Aaron Cressida Wilson. And it's based off the short story by Mary Gateskill and Steven Shainberg. You can watch it on Tubi currently. Watch out for those commercials. They be getting you. But before we get started, let's get into our ratings rewind.
So you know the drill. Before we get into the movie, we'll reveal the rating our Y2K versions of ourselves would give. Then at the end, we'll see if our current selves agree with our initial ratings. Our scale consists of would buy it again.
The best, would play and repeat.
5-day rental.
Would watch again.
2-day rental.
Okay, but nothing to write home about.
And same-day rental.
Straight up dumpster diving like Lee.
So Danielle, what is your Y2K rating of Secretary?
Danielle of Y2K was straight out in public saying that this was one of her favorite movies.
Really?
Yes.
That's shocking. You never said that to me.
I love this movie.
Interesting.
So it would be a would buy it again.
Fascinating.
I feel like rewatching it made me learn a lot about Y2K Danielle today.
So Y2K Jackie, I remember watching it, was intrigued. Because like you said, we didn't have 50 Shades of Grey to really introduce us to the whole world of BDSM. This gave us a little taste.
Yeah.
But didn't put a label on it.
50 Shades of Grey didn't give a shit either, so just more props and bigger budget.
That's true. So Y2K Jackie was probably at a 5-day rental. Plus, she loved an indie. So that alone was like, oh yeah, this new interesting thing. Watch it.
I think that's what it was. I felt like real cool chic and be like, Secretary, you ever heard of it? It's real like it's hot in the streets, but not everyone knows. It's not every street, you know what I mean? This movie had a budget of $4 million and made $9.3 million worldwide. The director stated that he wished to show that BDSM relationships can be normal, and was inspired by the film My Beautiful Laundrette, which he feels normalized gay relationships for audiences in the 1980s. I pulled there was a lot of really good reviews. The critics very much like this movie, but Ain't It Cool News commented, perhaps there's something bold about saying that pain can bring healing as long as it's applied by the right hand. But even that seems obvious and even normal thanks to Maggie Gyllenhaal. Which I agree, she really did a great job in this role. You know, obviously she had done and continued to do a lot of indie movies, but I feel like for me, this was the first time I ever just like saw her as an actress. Like I don't recall seeing her in anything else before this. And obviously James Spader, not for you maybe, but for the rest of us who watched John Hughes movies, he was the evil jackass in Pretty in Pink.
He was in Pretty in Pink?
Oh, yes.
Who knew?
Everybody.
Everyone except for me.
So it was really interesting to see him in this role. And it's even more interesting to rewatch it now, seeing what he's become in life. Like just his evolution as an actor. This movie was very on brand for him.
And I do want to say that this is a comedy podcast, so we are probably going to make light of some scenes, but as long as everyone's consensual, we applaud you. Do what you do. We're not ever going to yuck on anyone's yum.
Yeah, like your kink, your business. We're not hating on it. It may be different to us, and obviously we're not going to talk about our kinks because I think your kink
is the bone making the bones.
Yes, I have let out some of my kinks and weird things that I like, but yeah, I at the core of this movie, Jackie, I feel like it's an unconventional love story. I think I did a TikTok a while ago during Valentine's Day, some unconventional love stories that maybe don't get as much love. They're not from a rom-com perspective. But I think why I love this movie so much, it's because the idea of finding someone, no matter how different or odd or specific your likes or your wants and needs may be, there is the possibility that there's going to be someone who will have those same things or will very much respect and love the things that those quirks that you have, and and loving your whole self, you know, the scars and the, you know, the things you hide away as well as the things that you show to the light.
Yep. Okay, let's get started. I wrote typewriter clickies. Oh yeah, I remember now.
Okay.
So we see Lee. She is a secretary, if you can figure out by the title of the movie. And she is kind of doing her secretarial duties, pulls a paper from a typewriter, has an envelope, is making coffee, just your normal everyday secretary activities. However, she is bound to a bar that's going across her shoulders and kind of handcuffed with her arms straight out as she does all of this. So she is using her hands when she can. She uses her mouth to grab the paper out of the typewriter. And so this is and she seems incredibly put together, incredibly confident. And then we see a title screen that says 6 months earlier. So that's how we are introduced to Lee, the secretary. And now we are rewinding back in time.
One of the things that you notice pretty early on is that the set of the office set is very like bright. It gives But I'm a Cheerleader vibes with the colors that they chose.
It's highly stylized. This whole movie is very stylized, and you can tell this set designers were very thoughtful in every piece that went into this movie.
The director said that they, with the subject matter, they could have made the set very dark, but instead opted for the bright colors and to kind of mix in some nature as well, which we'll get to when we talk about Gray's garden, which I thought was really cool and a different aspect that I would have never really thought about. And watching this movie made me sad again because we don't get the colors in movies nowadays like we were getting at this time period. We're not getting those colors, those pinks, those blues. Like, I don't see them ever. Even like, I guess what you would consider a super girly movie. If we do get pinks and stuff, it's like that neon thing that we've absorbed from John Wick situation.
Yeah.
Which
like oversaturation.
Right. And I'm not one of the film bras to know all these things, but I love color, so it makes me so happy.
Yeah. So as we go on, we see Lee is being kind of not dismissed.
She's
discharged.
Yeah. She's able to finally leave, and her mom comes and picks her up. And now, obviously, when I see this actress, I can't think of anything but her bush because of your mom.
Same. So Lesley Ann Warren, a gem of an actress. She is an icon. She did a lot of musicals. She was Cinderella in Cinderella. Gorgeous, lovely actress. However, my mother, Miss Terry, loved the movie Victor Victoria. We have talked about it. She introduced Danielle to it, and it is now a favorite of Danielle's. But there is a scene in it where she's doing these high kicks, and her bush is just hanging out the sides of her panties. And every time I see this lovely, lovely woman, all I think about is that scene in Victor Victoria.
I feel so immature, but about it, obviously it's not a big deal, but it's just a core memory from like childhood now that it's just seared in my brain.
It was like as soon as we were like teenagers, like 16-ish, mom was like, hey, come here, watch this. She's like, just look at her high kicks. Her bush is hanging like she's just so full of wonder that made it into the movie for some reason. But yes,
when I come, we have to surprise your mom with a Victor Victoria movie night and make it themed, and she'll have no idea.
Oh, I love that.
I just want to wear a bodysuit with fake bush.
Oh, please do. Oh my God, it'll be so amazing. So yes, Lesley Ann Warren plays the mother who is kind of powerless. The father is very overbearing, has a drinking problem. And so the mom is kind of lost in her way and doesn't really know how to relate to either daughter and is just doing the best she can. But then we also find out later on, like, doesn't really want to be home. So she'll drop Lee off at work and just sit in the car and like crochet until it's time for Lee to be finished with work.
I feel like one of the themes of this movie is control, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, almost every character has had so many traumatic things happen, and they're using these different things to try to gain some control in their life.
Yeah.
And I think with Lee's mom, I can imagine that maybe her entire purpose at one point were her children, and now they're grown up, but one of her daughters is extremely not doing well, and she doesn't have the coping mechanisms to teach her child how to cope and get through this hard time. And I think Lee's cutting is a response to obvious daddy issues and the fact that her father drinks, and that's his coping mechanism for whatever his traumas are. And I think Lee grew up worrying very much about her dad. Very complex emotions and feelings, and anybody who's had a parent that struggles with any kind of addiction could understand how that's why like Al-Anon or anything like that when you go for support, because their drinking like will affect your everyday life, and you may
Yes.
have certain coping mechanisms that aren't healthy. So
Yeah. So, but Lee happens to be released on the date of her sister's backyard wedding.
and she's marrying the very tall, nerdy guy from Legally Blonde.
Yeah. Who is Anthony Perkins' son? Danielle was stunned, shocked, and awe.
The woman couldn't. What is that thing that
The
they have?
woman could not speak.
Yeah. Yeah, could not.
Yeah, Anthony Perkins, who was in Psycho. They have the same eyeballs.
He does have that crazy vibe with the eyes, crazy eyes. But is Anthony Perkins that tall? Was he that tall?
I don't know. Let's ask Google. How?
Because his son looks so freaking tall. But I also don't know sometimes if people are really tall, or is it that so many people in Hollywood are so short?
He was 6'2".
Anthony Perkins?
Yeah.
Okay, so now how tall is the son? I'm very curious.
Let me see. How tall is Oz Perkins? 6'4".
Yeah.
So that tracks.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Those are some very large trees to climb.
Yes. So son of Anthony Perkins and Barry Berenson. That's a name.
This backyard wedding has a lot of characters happening all at once, but Jeremy Davies, he's a child actor. What were you gonna say?
Spent the majority of the movie thinking that was Corey Feldman.
What?
He looks exactly like Corey Feldman.
I kept on wanting to think that he was the guy that played Ellie in E.T., but I know that's not who it was. Like I just couldn't figure out which 80s movie this kid that he was in when he was a kid.
Well, what was he in?
But he definitely had that weird vibe. He nailed it in this movie.
Yeah.
So
it was just two lost souls. It was like two pieces of driftwood in the ocean. And you how like they bump up against each other and they just ride out the waves together for a while. That was Lee and Peter.
Yeah.
But he was way more into her than she was into him, especially after she met Mr. Gray.
Yeah. So like as soon as she's at this wedding and here's this guy, and you kind of get a secondhand of like, oh, they know each other. There's something brewing. There was never like a, hey, let's go out. I want you to be my girl kind of thing. It just happened.
We're just at the laundromat eating dinner because there's also a restaurant in the laundromat.
I think that's a great business model. I'm not gonna lie. I think going back to our barbershop episode of the strip club / barbershop, snips and nips.
I forgot about that.
And if you want to add a food aspect, snips, nips, and dips.
Don't get any of those mixed up.
Anywho, I think the laundromat / dinery is a very smart model especially for places where that is needed, like in New York, California,
It was just interesting, like that's where they chose to hang out. I feel like her parents' house had to have had a washer and dryer. We're going to the laundromat.
I just want to know how many fucking whitey tidies did Peter have in that basket? And why are you throwing out good underwear? Because I didn't see a hole there at all.
No skid marks?
No, well, I didn't see any skid marks or holes. So why are we throwing away good underwear, Peter? But I guess it's because he can't have babies. We'll get there. Jesus.
Yeah. So after the wedding, Dad's been drinking. Tensions are kind of high. And so Lee immediately goes back into kind of her comfort area, which for her is self-injury. She cuts herself. She has like, and it's very ritualistic, which it like that typically is. She has her little box. She takes out all of her things, and she typically does it on her upper thigh area somewhere.
I
And
remember,
so
I remember
uh,
watching this, and this was my very first experience with even knowing that this was. I believe this was the first time I realized that this is something that people are inflicted with. So I do believe I asked my mom a little bit about it, but not too much, because then she was like, "Well, what are you watching?" I'm like, "Nothing."
yes, I read a lot of what would now be considered banned books when I was younger. So there were quite a few books that hit on cutting. So I did know what it was, and kind of not obviously the full scope of understanding why people gravitated towards that, but definitely understanding that people had tendencies to self-harm as a way of controlling something, or feeling something different when they're presented with a situation they find uncomfortable in. And that's kind of the situation with her dad. I think in this scene, correct me if I'm wrong, she actually puts her stuff away. She doesn't actually cut herself, but then she's making herself a cup of tea in the next scene. And
I was like, "Girl, don't do it." That's
same.
brave.
Yeah, like so dad and mom are arguing. Dad's starting to kind of push mom around, and that's when kind of her trigger hits. And so she takes the tea kettle off of the stove. It's already been whistling, and she walks to her room and like literally puts it up against her inner thigh. And so
I
go ahead.
No, I was actually really surprised, because we do learn that her mom has locked like up the knives and stuff like that. I was surprised that her kit was still in her bedroom,
Same.
and that her mom hadn't done like
A full sweep of the room.
But I'm wondering if they knew about all the cutting, or if they just thought she could try to commit suicide.
Yes, because we do find out later on in the movie, there is a flashback of why Lee was admitted to this institution. And it's because she has this internal monologue going. She's doing dishes. Her mom's in the kitchen, and her mom turns around and she's like, okay, I have to be quick about it. And like, she has the urge to cut herself and ends up cutting too deep. And so they think it's a suicide attempt, which is how she ends up in treatment at the beginning of the movie. So, next scene is she has floaties on, like, she has like 4 sets of floaties, like 2 on her arms, 2 on her legs. I'm like, that's kind of a smart play. So you could literally just float
Or
around the
you
pool.
could just get a big float. What's happening here?
I don't know, maybe they couldn't afford it. And I also had the thought, her arms and legs are that tiny that she could put little kid floaties on them.
I believe it. I do think that this is just visually one of those examples of how, and this is why her and Peter kind of get along so well. When we first meet Lee, she is teetering back and forth between childlike
Yes.
behavior and adult behavior, which is understandable because trauma stunts.
Yeah.
So, and we see that with Peter as well. They're both living at home. They both haven't like hit those some of those adult milestones, and the floaties that very much gave me childlike. Even her
Yes.
room, even that unicorn thing that she has that she uses to cut herself. So there's like a lot of just little girl like elements. Even her underwear seems very like what we wore in like 5th, 4th grade.
Yep. So she does start a typing class. She realizes she's actually really good at typing. She's very quick. So she's in typing class.
Okay, baby girl what is this movie? 90s, 2000s? When did it come out?
2002.
We have folders. We have picture frames. We have
carrying around her little certificate and it's all wrinkled.
Like, what are we doing here? You trying to get a job? That's not presentable.
This is true. But that also feeds into that in between a child and a adult, like
when we tell, like, we just, for the audience who hasn't seen the movie, Lee is walking around with this crumpled up paper like certificate of her scores from her typing class. So there's no like regard of like, I might rip this and they may not
or
be
this
good
is
for
like
me.
Special or something I need to present to potential employers. It's just like literally it reminds me of when you were a kid and you would just shove shit in your desk. And then like the teacher needed a piece of paper and you're like, oh, and you're like trying to smooth it out the best you can to turn it in. That's what it reminded me of. So we also do get some, like Danielle said, we see mom locking up the cabinet, putting all the sharps in the cabinet. There is some like voiceover that says she's been doing it since 7th grade. She does attempt to throw away her kit.
Yeah.
And then she just can't. And so she actually goes back to the trash can to retrieve it. But when she does, she sees a newspaper that's been thrown away. And it happens to be on the help wanted page. Yeah, so she pulls it out and starts circling potential typing jobs, secretarial jobs.
It doesn't seem like she goes to many places.
Yeah.
I feel like she's one of those lucky few that finds her first job like after the first try. And let me paint a scene of this office. It looks like a crack den house, but with better furniture. And I don't know if anyone's been paid to like spruce things up or clean things up in a while. Like it just looks messy. Like someone came and trashed the place.
The interesting thing is he has his little sign out front with his name on it and like lawyer's office or whatever. But then he has secretary wanted and it's surrounded by light bulbs. And I guess if it's lit up, he needs a new secretary. That's a red flag.
That's a Krispy Kreme of secretaries.
It is.
It's hot. There's a new batch. Okay. Yeah. And as she's going in, the last secretary is leaving. She's got an envelope in her mouth and she is just got stuff in a box.
Has her little box of things. Yeah.
So my question, Jackie, knowing that he's probably had this turnover of a ton of different secretaries, has he tried the stuff that he is going to in the timeline with Lee, with the other secretaries, or not?
Oh, I think so. I think he alludes to it later on in the movie too. Because he tries to give her the same envelope. It's like he tries to push them as far, or like not tries to push them, but he obviously has kinks, and like obviously there's a breaking point with every previous secretary, and then he just gives his like little severance letter and pays them and they be on their way.
Now in 2022 rewatching this movie, I very much understand the problematic tones to this movie. I mean, obviously even the actors, these two have to be at least 20 years apart. I want to say she's in her early 20s and he's got to be in his 40s at this point when this movie is made. And then on top of that, he's her boss. And like I don't even know if he ever gets an inclination that she's interested. He just does it and she just takes it. So I mean,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, let me look. He was 17 years older than her.
Yeah.
Or okay. I have so many random tabs open, right? So she goes in. I did write, gives very wrinkled typing certificate. And the first question this man asks, he is a lawyer, by the way.
Right, which makes the sexual harassment case he's building against himself. astronomical.
Question he asks is, are you pregnant? Are you planning on getting pregnant?
Legal.
I'm sorry. Yeah. HR immediately.
Immediately no. It's not good, bud. You're not supposed to do that.
And then he's like, do you live in an apartment alone? Do you live with your parents? Do you have any siblings? Are you married?
Like,
and then
why
he's
were
like,
those important questions? That's real creepy.
I don't know.
Like, are you gonna come kill me at night?
And I love where he's like, did you win an award? And she hands the very wrinkled typing certificate to him. And then we see him. He is very, very eccentric. He is very quirky. He has a little orchid terrarium and he's like talking to her, but like misting his orchids at one point.
Yes. And it's politically incorrect to call him crazy. I was saying that to describe him back in the 2000s when I saw this movie.
Yeah. Now he is just very eccentric.
Yes, that is the correct term.
Yes. It seems like he might be a germaphobe.
He
uses that dart to dial things.
He's a germaphobe. There's some OCD. When we meet his wife, I believe that it's kind of, again, like the Christian Grey situation where he was a submissive and
correct,
his wife was dominant.
Yes.
And I
felt that too.
I could so see Lee shifting into that as well.
Yeah, the dom role. So he essentially is like, you've got the job, go make me coffee. Lee's struggling to make coffee. We have like a 5-minute long scene of her just trying to put the new water glug glug on top of the dispenser.
That thing is fucking hard to do. I'm gonna give Lee some props for that, because I don't know if you've ever had to lift one of those water things and fill it without spilling the water every goddamn where, but it's hard.
I have.
Well, it's hard.
But I am also abnormally strong.
It's not even like how heavy it is. It's just like trying to
cumbersome.
get it into the spout thing without spilling the water everywhere.
Yeah. Which Lee does.
Yeah. And I kept on trying to question, is there carpet in there? I hate carpets in a kitchen and a bathroom. There's nothing that disgusts me more. If that's your house, I'm apologizing in advance, but it's just one of my tics. How are you cleaning that? How are you disinfecting carpet? Please let me know. This is what the trigger warning is for.
So he tells her she's overqualified, even though she's never had a damn job in her life. I mean, but way to build her confidence.
He's saying that because I think he's self-sabotaging, because he knows what he's about to do, because he finds her intriguing.
Yeah. Because she is as well quirky and interesting.
Would you say he's a predator?
Yes. Only because he lures women in on the pretense of needing a secretary. Like, if he was just on the up and up and just going to like spots where like, subs hang out or whatever, or it's a meetup, that's cool, whatever. But the fact that he's using his place of business and his position of power to lure women in. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because obviously from like the other secretary and stuff, like she wasn't down with it. Maggie was totally down with it. And it wasn't like she was coerced into it or anything. She was like, I want more.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
So Lee gets the job. She is practicing in the bathtub, answering phones. I don't know if this is a thing that people do and I just don't do it, but I don't really rehearse things.
Trying to think.
If you rehearse things like in the shower, or like in the privacy of your own home, please let me know. I'm interested because it's just not something that has ever been in my realm of thinking.
I don't practice things. I do fantasize. I have a very, very imaginative situation going on up here.
All of these character backstories. We know, Danielle.
Yeah, I do build out a lot of different storylines and variations of what the possibilities could be. Like, I guess if I had a superpower, it would be like, you know how Doctor Strange was able to figure out like all the different variations? That would probably be something I would think of, all the variables. But that's a trauma response. I'm aware. But I'm also very good at it.
So, oh, and he did tell her it's very dull work. And she said, I like dull work. So she's in the bathroom. There's this lady that shows up. I don't know where she spends her time. She just always shows up in the bathroom.
The blonde lady? I think she's another lawyer.
But do they share the same space?
I think so, because, and again, this could be I made up some more backstory. I feel like there were other renters in that building, because as Lee's walking by in some parts, she's like saying hi to other people. But I know
it seems like his area is very secluded.
Yeah, I just feel like maybe they shared the building area because
they share a communal bathroom.
Yeah,
between all the tenants.
Okay. But I feel like the lawyer's place, like her office, is the bathroom.
She is always fucking in there,
and she has files and shit. Like that later on scene when Lee goes in there, she got files on that toilet with her.
Maybe she just has IBS and it's just easier to do her work from the toilet.
That's a kind assumption. I just think she's Looney Tunes a little bit.
Maybe. So she does meet another paralegal or lawyer, some lady in the bathroom. She leaves her blue eyeshadow on accident and Lee's like, ooh, let me do my eyes.
Yeah, okay. That scene gives me flashbacks to My Girl 1, when Jamie Lee Curtis's character puts on the blue eyeshadow. Like, it just was like seared right then. I was like, oh, I remember that.
I don't remember that. Oh, and then this is the scene where he's like, I threw out the notes on that case. I'm going to need you to go through the dumpster.
This motherfucker. So the whole premise of this thing is that he is constantly testing Lee to see how far he can push her.
Yep.
Which I'm sure, again, has to do with how far he might have abandonment issues. So he thinks that maybe if he pushes people away, if he pushes them away before they could push him away, he'll feel safe. Or, oh, you say you love me, let me see if that's true, per se. So he purposely throws his fucking file in the trash, knowing
he didn't. Remember? Well, I guess he did, but then he's like, "Oh, never mind. I found another copy."
That's because his germaphobe self knew damn well he was never going to
touch that.
Right. He didn't find another file. He made sure he had a duplicate, and he threw that thing in the trash to see if she would do it. It was all a setup. That man is just, stop playing with me.
She did do it.
She jumped into that damn dumpster like it was a kid thinking they could jump into a pool of Jello.
And he's just
like, if we could just get all the scenes, collect all the scenes of him creeping.
Oh, he was 100% a creeper. And then he was doing frantic sit-ups, almost like he was like, that was his like counting to 1,000, or like thinking of grandma in her undies, like trying to like down boy after like, oh, she's willing to do shit for me. It turned him on. Even though she was stanky.
No comment. No comment. You know, my germaphobe ass ain't jumping into no trash. You want me to what? Sounds like we losing that file. So
Well, I don't know what we're gonna do about this, but
oh no, you threw it out. I'm so sorry to hear that. You want me
well,
to what?
it's also in it during this day that she brings him donuts and she sees the donuts in the trash.
Yeah, that hurt her feelings.
Yeah.
I think I would have gone off if I bought someone donuts and they threw it away.
And then as she's coming back in, he sees like little butterfly bandages on her legs. So he knows that she's cutting herself.
Wait a minute, let's not gloss over the scene, Jackie.
Okay, tell me.
He's got a rat trap.
Oh, I forgot about the rat traps.
He's got rat traps. And so like he throws all these things that she's supposed to do. Like he tells her like 5 things at one time. And so she's trying to like do the one thing of setting the rat trap because I guess he must have caught one and emptied it out. So now she has to reset it. And so she's like having trouble with it and he helps her. But the way in which that she has to maneuver, like he's
like behind that chair.
yeah, like and don't get lazy about it too. Like the way that he was maneuvering was crazy. So she's bending over on her hands and knees and he's checking it all out. And then, you know, like you said, he sees the cuts or whatever. And she sees it. She's like, I see you watching me and I like it. You know, she's all about it. But later on, we do see that he does catch a mouse. And when I was watching it in my head, I was like, I'm sure Jackie's like, oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, the humanely. I was like, oh, they're humane about it. They're just letting him outside. Mr. Gray's ex-wife comes whirling in.
Which, by the way, just a note, she was on One Life to Live back in the day. Just saying.
And she is very like in your face, yelling at him. And so he becomes, like Danielle said, like the submissive in that relationship. And so you can kind of see, oh, this is probably maybe where he learned some of his BDSM rituals from.
This woman walks into the scene and owns the next 5 minutes, essentially. Yeah. She walks in, she asks for Edward. We see Lee struggling with a freaking cold call, spam call. Like she can't just hang up. She's freaking out. This woman's like, where's Edward? And then Lee's like, oh my God, wait. Because, you know, she doesn't want to get in trouble by letting her go, this lady go. And she says, I'm Edward's ex-wife. And as soon as she sees Lee struggling, she just yells, submissive. Like, it made, like, I was like, this woman is my idol. I just want to go around people and just be like, submissive, and freak the fuck out. So Lee finally, it like really motivates her to cut these people off and hang up the phone or whatever. And she goes to tell Edward that his wife is there, ex-wife, and I don't know if she calls him first to say that his, you know, so-and-so was there. But
no, I think he hears her in the hall.
Right. She doesn't call him yet, but she screams at the top of her lungs, Edward! And then that man went like, it was like a cartoon, the smoke that was left behind. He left so fast.
He had like a secret closet that he like that just looked like it was part of the wood paneling. And he's just like his little coffin so he doesn't have to deal with his ex-wife.
Like, I don't know who this lady is, but I love her. I want to make a man that scared.
And then the piece de resistance of this scene is she cannot find Edward. So she walks back out into the waiting room area, takes his coat off the coat rack and stomps all over it. And then she's like, tell him I stopped by, and then like pieces out.
But I think because, you know, he doesn't like the dirt and all that stuff, that probably she knew that was going to irritate him a lot.
It's also during the scene where Lee's dad calls and that kind of triggers her again. And so she has her little kit at work and she's like pulling it out to cut herself. I can't remember if she does in this scene or not.
I
don't think she does. I think she's interrupted by Edward.
Yeah.
And then Peter calls. This is when they have their very lovely date at the laundromat.
Now, they're at the laundromat. They're having a date, but why is Mr. Gray there?
Creeping again.
Like did he follow her?
It's like behind the little dry cleaning rack.
I feel like it was almost like an accident, but he doesn't make it known that he's there, and he's just watching them interact with each other. And this is when they're having that conversation about like how tight underwear is not good if you want to have kids, and then he starts throwing away his underwear, and he is just watching. And I don't know if he was coming to the laundromat to do laundry, but he left empty-handed and was just out that bitch. And then the very next day, he goes on to punish Lee as if she did something wrong. And he's like, did you go on a date? Like, he is possessive, and Leah has no idea what the hell is going on.
Because they do kiss in that scene. It's pretty awkward, but Peter and Lee do kiss.
Yeah.
And then they also talk about, like, Peter says he had a nervous breakdown. That's why he's back living at home. Lee kind of is like, well, me too, kind of. So they start connecting. Like, they do have, like, commonalities.
Yeah.
So, yes, the next day, Mr. Gray is very upset, and he takes it out the only way he knows how, by correcting her grammatical errors with a red pen.
Yeah. They keep on saying pen, but that looked like a
it was a
Sharpie marker.
Yeah. So it's like he's circling errors, do it again. And she's having to go. And of course, it's a typewriter. So.
And she looks like she's going to cry at this point. Like, she's very frustrated, and
she does have some tics as she's like out. I don't even know how he can hear or see her, but she does this thing where she's like licking the side of her mouth as like while she's concentrating. I demonstrated for those.
Yeah, that was why I was laughing, not at the actual tick, but Jackie doing it made me laugh.
And she taps her feet. There are certain things that she does, but I mean, he said it himself. It was dull work.
Also, he's got a bunch of shit too, like glass houses, sir.
Yes, 100%. Oh, I can't do my little Barty Crouch Jr. tongue flick, but you'd be over there misting that orchid a whole hell of a lot.
That poor orchid wants to run away.
And dialing with a dart so you don't have to touch the phone. Your phone. It's not like it's a public phone, sir. So,
and at this, he does call her into the office, right? Is that what?
Oh, well, so she kind of, it's odd the flexes she makes to kind of assert herself. So this first time, one of the submissions of like what she is having to redo, she rips off a piece of her skirt and puts it along with that piece of paper. And so that kind of triggers him. And he's like, the way you dress is disgusting.
He tells her, you tap your feet, you sniffle, he's a laundry list. If someone did this to me, I would crumble. Like, you're not gonna come up in here and tell me all my shit at my workplace.
Yes. And he says something about her hair too, because she ends up wearing a hairnet.
Right. He said, stop playing, stop twirling your hair. You're either going to have to stop twirling your hair or put on a hairnet. And this bitch comes with a hairnet. I can't make this up. And it has like pearl pins in it too. At least she made it fashionable.
So she like comes in, she's like got nasal spray so she'd not be sniffling anymore. She does do some role playing. This is kind of, I feel like, how it's like introduced. Slowly. Yeah, he's like, you need to be more assertive on the phone. We're going to role play and you're going to answer assertively, blah, blah, blah. And so she finally pleases him. And so he like applauds her and he's like, come here. And that's when he's like interrogating her about the date. Did you have sex?
I was like, dude. And then it drifts from there to him going about like, I saw that you cut yourself. He pretty much is like, you're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
And you're a grown ass woman. Your mom's not picking you up anymore. You're going to take a nice walk. You need to like decompress pretty much, walk through the park, walk home every day. Like your mom doesn't need to be picking you up, which was a positive, but it was just, how did we get here to get here? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it was almost like he gave her permission to be an adult.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, he's like, you can do these things. Go do them. And she's like, I've never taken a walk by myself. He's like, you've grown. Go take a walk.
But again, she's having daddy issues. All she wants is some stability. And so she's going from one problematic daddy to another. Jesus help us.
Yeah, but then she realizes she kind of likes when she's in trouble with Mr. Gray.
She does.
So the next day, she makes another typing mistake. She's sniffling again. And so he's like, come into my office, bring that letter. And he puts the letter on the desk. He's like, bend over and look at your mistakes. And so she's like, over the desk, palms down, arms flat. And he spanks her over and over so fucking hard. I thought it was going to be like one spank. It's like, okay, that's how you get your jollies. No, homeboy went in.
Well, the producers asked Maggie if she wanted to wear a protective pad during the spanking scenes, but Maggie was like, no, I'm not wearing one. She's like, my character is supposed to be moved by the tiniest movement of Spader's or look or breath, she says. So I've allowed myself to be totally open to him, but she regrets it because she forgot that they had to do like 15 takes, and she's like, I hurt myself in ways I didn't expect. She ended up with a football-sized bruise and had to wear body makeup for the nude scenes later in the film. Girl, what? I mean, I know you're an actor, but I can quickly go back to my spankings as a child to fully get to where I need to get, of like, well, probably not. That's not appropriate for that. That would be weird. But yeah, no.
Just in the context of this shit is going to hurt.
Yeah.
Especially if you get it over and over and over again. And you're an actress, you know there's more than one take.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe she was wanting to get her jollies too.
I don't know. She wanted to try it out. And for James Spader, he said, for me, it wasn't difficult to shoot the spanking scene. I was hitting a woman, yes, but it's hitting in the context of these characters and the setting in the story. Of course, it's not without some difficulty, but it's just one of the scenes in the film. It was a scene dealt with great care, thoughtfulness, as the rest of the film was as well. This reeks of patriarchy. Because I guarantee you, if we're like, okay, now we're going to have her spank you just as hard, he would be like, where's my body double?
Right. I think he could have said that a lot better. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's not the most comfortable scene. And I had lots of conversations with Maggie to make sure she was okay. Like nothing. It was like,
no,
it's an average day, yo.
It wasn't difficult for me.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she has a fucking football-sized bruise that she has to cover up with body makeup.
I'm surprised he didn't say, my hand was actually quite sore from that scene, you know? Oh my God.
Justice for Maggie's booty.
I do want to say that this was the beginning of many movies of me seeing Maggie Gyllenhaal naked. Yeah. I've seen this woman butt naked a lot. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. Yeah. She does not shy away from nudity, and good for her.
I'm not, I mean, I want some mornings. I don't want to see it no more. Just be honest.
So where are we now?
So after he does the spanking, she's a little shocked by it, but you could see that she gets a smile on her face about it. And it's almost like she comes to the realization that there can be good pain.
Yes.
other than what I've been doing.
Exactly. Like, this is a better, more consensual outlet for releasing that type of pain than cutting is.
Yes.
And there is a moment where she like puts her little pinky on his pinky.
Yeah.
Like, it was a very tender moment in that very like
interesting.
Yeah. I don't want to say jolting. It was just surprising to viewers who are not familiar with BDSM.
Yeah. I think the first time I was like, wait, what the fuck's happening? Because it just took a turn. And I think she goes in the bathroom and she is able to see her bruise. She is bruised pretty bad.
And she's getting off on it.
Yeah.
So there is a scene later on where she's making copies and the lid to the copier is open. And I'm like, that's not how we make copies. Have we never seen a copy machine before?
I think we have to get to a point that we realize that baby girl wasn't really good at her job.
Yeah.
I don't think
a lot of errors.
I don't think she really needed to, clearly, because that's not what he really wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So
And so then we get a scene at home where she tells her mom the locks can come off of the cabinets anymore. I'm not going to do that to myself.
Yeah. And
she goes and throws her kit in the river. Ken, the environmentalist, is like, that's polluting.
I knew it. I knew it. I don't know why, like, especially since earlier in the scenes earlier that she threw them away. So why change trajectory?
I think it's because once it was over that bridge, like, there was no taking it back.
Gotcha. Okay.
Gone forever. It sleeps with the fishes. So there's more spanking.
They're having a whirlwind. They're having the time of their life. But then things take a turn.
Hold on. I just have to read this note in this, like, because it is a little montage of like them playing.
Okay.
And my note is desk hay saddle carrot. And she is literally on top of his desk on all fours, wearing a saddle with a carrot in her mouth and hay strewn about the desk. They were trying some things.
They were. And you know what? Again, not going to knock anyone's kink.
So she is now fantasizing when she is at home. She's thinking about things.
Pleasuring herself.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about these sexual daydreams that she's having. So she is pleasuring herself. But when she thinks about Mr. Gray, very, again, loving the colors, whatever. It's like a hyper, I don't know. It doesn't matter. A psychedelic. It's like a psychedelic, yes, but like really cool background that's happening. It's like a blossoming flower, essentially. Yes. And when she's thinking about Mr. Gray, at one point you think that like, oh, they're going to make out, but she embraces him and like lays her head on his shoulder. It's very like sensual, but more emotional than just pure sexual fantasy kind of thing. It's
almost like a savior,
yes,
type situation.
Yeah. She feels secure.
Yeah.
And then she kind of looks to the left and sees a framed picture of
Peter.
And he's watching. So he comes into the dream and then he's like on top of her on her desk or something like that. But their encounter is, even in her fantasy, is very awkward. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I don't like this. And so she like, puts Peter's picture down and she goes back to fantasizing about Mr. Gray. And again, like these two have not done anything that would be essentially sexual this whole time. They haven't kissed. They haven't touched each other's privates. Nothing has just, it's sexual, but not sexual, I guess you could say. So that I found very interesting, that even in her sexual fantasies, she's looking more for intimacy.
Yes.
That was the word I couldn't find earlier.
And back at work, all of the corrections are framed on the wall.
Like, there are people that come. I want to know who Mr. Gray's clients are, because this shit is not making sense, because some of them come in And are they not seeing this shit? I would be like, what is happening here?
I don't know. Yeah, like that was a bizarre flex. So I think time goes on and he is less and less intimate in his own way with her. And so she purposely does not correct something because she's like, ooh, mistake. Here you go, Mr. Gray.
Yeah, she's like reading Cosmo to try to figure out how to like keep her man interested and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And I think what ends up happening is I don't think he's not interested anymore. I think he starts to pull back because there's a lot of shame for him personally about his kinks, and
Yeah.
I think he feels guilty. There's a lot of guilt also coming into play that he feels like he's doing this to her, and probably because some of his other secretaries have not let him go this far, so he starts pulling back and he tries to transition back into like an everyday work situation, which is like, fuck you, what is this? So it's very confusing for her, and you see him struggle because he doesn't catch the mistake, and when she's trying to leave that day, she says like, I'll put in the work, I'll stay late, do you need me to stay late? And when she's saying goodbye, he's struggling with he wants to like have her stay.
Yeah.
So she's upset, he's like stuck, and it's just nobody's getting their kicks.
Yeah. And so in a scene like later on, we see mom calls the office and she's like, your dad's in the hospital. And so Lee's really upset. She actually, because this is her replacement for cutting, so now she doesn't have it. And so when she has that trigger, she doesn't know what to do. So she ends up, it's like raining late at night, and she ends up going to Mr. Gray's house because she doesn't know what else to do with herself. She is used to taking care of that urge by herself by cutting, or having Mr. Gray be a dom for her.
Yeah. And when she in this scene, he acts completely aloof.
Yeah.
And she also does not have the confidence to ask for what she needs from him.
Yes.
Because he's been giving her mixed signals, and he doesn't even really check with her. Like, obviously she's not just coming to his house for no reason. He knows something must be wrong. So I felt very sad for her in that moment. And I thought after she left that we would see him lurking again, but he doesn't. We get a glimpse of his apartment, his house as well. And Jackie, what are those gold things on like above his bed? They look like gold records at first, but I was like, I know that's not what they are, but they're like these square things with gold circles. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Ooh, I don't
pay attention to much, but there's some things that catch my eye that I was like perplexed about. Anywho, and he's like running on a treadmill that late at night, real hardcore. And he gave her so much shit about her Walkman at one point.
Yeah.
And I believe he has one on as he's running. I can't. The hypocrisy of it all. And one thing that we didn't talk about was that like when they're in their height of their love bound bond, he like will tell her what to eat.
Yes.
Like, you can have 4 peas, a slice of butter, and a scoop of mashed potatoes. Like, she'll tell him what's for dinner. And I'm like, okay, this is cute and all, but that bitch ain't eating nothing. So are you trying to make her anorexic? What is this? I didn't like that part. Was weird to me. Not the telling her what to eat, but that she's not getting enough nutrition.
Yeah. So she is fed up.
Yeah.
And she's walking into work one day and she sees a little wormy on the sidewalk, and she's like, this is it. It's all come to this. So she types up her letter, but then like puts the little wormy in it.
She also went and took pictures at one of those studios that look like a
boudoir,
like a boudoir picture, but like from the saloon back in the day.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, she's trying to seduce him in all the wrong ways.
But he likes that shit because he keeps that photo. She also gives him roses. She gives him roses and like frames his picture. I was like floored.
Oh, that's what it was. She puts the wormy in an envelope and mails it to him. So we have to wait a couple of days. That's a slow burn.
Right.
In the meantime, her and Peter are getting intimate in the bedroom. She's trying to get him to spank her. He's not doing it hard enough. She's like, what your problem is?
And then he thinks that she means that, like, that she wants to do anal, and he pulls out a condom. He's like, okay. She's like, no. And then she's frustrated that he's not getting it. But again, she's not vocalizing what she wants, right?
Exactly. But then she starts faking it.
Well, she does vocalize what she does. After that, she's like, okay, I'm not getting the spanking. He wants to do it. And she's like, fine, but I want no lights. I keep my clothes on.
Yeah.
And this is how you know, like, they're not really suited for each other because they're not communicating with each other. And the need for her to fake it, and they're not having sex together. He is
right.
She is an orifice, and he is just getting his kicks off because he is not tending to her needs. He is not turning her on in any way.
Say that word again.
Don't start with me. What is it? Orifice?
Orifice.
Okay.
You said orifices.
You know. Haven't been able to say words all freaking day.
You're doing well now.
But he's like not doing anything for her. And I want to say this scene should just be called My 20s.
Oh.
Girls, ask for what you want. Because if you don't, you're going to be like Lee. Ooh. Yeah.
Right there. That's the spot.
I call this one the dolphin.
Okay, good night. You good? Okay, good night.
That was good for me. Blew my world.
You're too big to fit in here.
Hey there, welcome to the Latchkey Sibs, the podcast that challenges three siblings to take a look at our childhood movie cabinet, and one film at a time, criticize or defend the viewing choices we made as kids. I'm your host, Gray Baker, and I'm the youngest.
I'm Holland, and I'm the oldest. I'm Allegra, and I'm a Scorpio.
So what we do, each week one of us will present a movie to be critiqued, and the other two will be scoring it based on 5 specific categories. Can we follow this? I put it at a 6. It's a pretty ridiculous plot. It's a pretty ridiculous plot.
Appropriate for children. I had it at a 7. I'm keeping it at a 7.
Oh, come on.
I have it as a 9.
Each week's score will be added up, and at the end of each season, the sibling with the most points will be labeled Master of the Remote Control, and the loser will be forced to do some sort of punishment.
I think we can let the magic be whatever the magic needs to be because it's a movie.
Classic
and it's a children's movie.
Hand-wavy children's movie answer.
I'm just saying.
I'm like, listen, you old fuck. You just me too'd your friend.
Okay, the horse scene. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
That is erotica. I also wrote,
Yes.
This movie is horny. This whole movie
so horny.
is so horny. Okay.
We are the Latchkey Sibs here for you, reviewing movies from back in our youth.
Tune in every Wednesday to find out who becomes the master of the remote control on Latchkey Sibs.
So the next day, Mr. Gray receives the worm letter. He doesn't know how to process this information. He does red Sharpie all the mistakes. He's doing pull-ups, like he's trying to get it out of his mind, but it's not leaving. So he does call Lee into her office.
She's like, finally.
Yeah, she assumes that she's just like, assumes the position. There is a fucking person at the bell that just
She says, but he's like, get into my office. And she's like, but so-and-so's out here. He's like, get into my office. And she's like, okay. I mean, some people I hear actually get off on other people potentially catching them in the act. I hear.
But she thinks she's going to get spanked again. Oh, no.
This was new.
He tells her to pull up her skirt.
He has to say multiple times, I'm not going to fuck you.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I'm not, but he doesn't say I'm not going to fuck you. He says, I'm not interested in fucking you.
Yes.
And so he's like, pull up your skirt, pull down your pantyhose and panties. And this man jizz is all over her back.
Oh, and doesn't even give her a napkin. I mean, that's not the focal. I mean, that's not the worst part. The worst part is that she
still has to work the rest of the day, and now she got sticky cum shirt on her back.
I also feel like her face in this moment when he does this, it's almost like for the first time that she feels like
violated.
Yes. That wasn't something they both enjoyed.
Right.
That was something he needed to do for himself.
I wrote, comes on her, everyone is confused. And then he just gives her like some forms to fill out. I was like, that is all. Like,
I wouldn't have, I can't with the next. Oh, and I mean, even after that, that's the moment he knows she's got to go, because he gets mad that he has jizz on his pants.
Yes.
And he tells her after this incident, he tells her to go get lunch. He tells her what she can have, what he needs to have. He tells her what to do. But then he realizes, and he must have had his meeting at this point and realizes he has jizz on his pants, and he loses his fucking shit.
Yeah.
And he starts to down a spiral, and he realizes that, okay, he's going to have to fire her because.
Meanwhile, she goes out, gets lunch, goes to the bathroom. Lawyer on a toilet is still in there. She goes to the stall and is trying to, number one, wipe up the jizz that's all over her back. And number two, she's trying to get off in some fashion after this odd display of affection he has bestowed upon her.
Why on the letter of that with the corrections or whatever, is there a ton of hole protectors around it to make it sticky, I guess?
Oh, so she can stick it because that is her porn, Danielle, or the red circles. So yeah,
no,
she has
the stickies. Why does she need that to? Oh, that's
to
how
stick it.
Okay,
stick it to the stall of the door. She has reinforcers to stick it to the stall of the door so she can pleasure herself at work.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Next to yes, lady,
who's getting her kicks off listening to it. I can't.
It was interesting. So he does take all of the framed corrections off of the wall.
And he smashes them.
Yeah, he smashes them. He destroys everything. He burns. He has Polaroid photos of all of his previous secretaries. He burns all of them. He writes the standard issue apology letter to Lee so that he can fire her.
He tries to talk to her. He tells her to go get her scores.
Her typing certificate.
Right. And he starts over again with her as if it was one of her first day. And so you think that he's just resetting for himself, but then he's like, you got to go. You can't work here anymore. And we're done. We're done. And she tries to fight for him or whatever, but he kicks her out. We find out later because, she be stalking. He changed the locks. As soon as she walks out with her box, she's remembering the lady that walked out with her box when she was coming in. And the Krispy Kreme secretary needed light is on as soon as she's out there. And she says that he gives her a $600 more than he owed her. And she doesn't tell anybody at first that she's been fired. This scene with her and her full clothes and shoes in the swimming pool, I was like, you're messing up good clothes. That's all
she was going through some stuff. So yeah, she does pretend like she's going to work as normal. Meanwhile, she's answering these newspaper ads for like sadist, masochist type thing.
Right.
And
some of the scenarios, there's a guy who likes to be tied up with all the ovens and stoves on, tied up to it, and tomatoes thrown at him.
Takes all kinds.
Those tomatoes, like, it wasn't just regular tomatoes. Like, he had to wait for those to be like damn near spoiled.
Yeah,
they were so soft.
Literally tomatoes.
Yes.
So Dad's sober at home, so she's kind of dealing with that new normal. Peter randomly proposes because he really doesn't know what else to do at this point. He's just like, well, let's get married. So now she's like in this, okay, I guess I'm marrying Peter phase. She's trying on the mom's wedding dress.
And can we talk about the shade this bitch tried to throw at her? Talk about, oh, I guess I was a little smaller back then. What? Are we really fat shaming? She's not fat.
She's so tiny.
Ugh.
Rude.
Yeah.
So it's at this point that Lee decides, go big or go home. So
she said, I'm gonna get my man.
She did. She runs to his office, breaks in, and sits in his seat with her hands in like the submission position. And she just sits. And like time goes by.
Well, and she says to him that, like, I want to be with you.
Yeah.
And he's like pretty much telling her that it's not going to work out and all this stuff. And he has issues. And she's like, I want to love all of you. I want to know you. I want to be with you. And like, so she like puts her heart out on the table essentially. And he tells her, like, you sit here, don't move, whatever. And he packs his shit and leaves.
Yeah.
But of course, him being him, he fucking creeping and watching, right? Watching and watching and watching. And he calls Peter and said, yo, you looking for your girl? She at the office.
Yeah, exactly.
And watches Peter come to try to get her, because like she ain't moving. And she slaps Peter around like he ain't nothing, and because Peter pulls her away from the table, and she's so upset because like she did not want to move. That's what he told her to do. That's what Edward told her to do.
Well, and Peter does say, is this something sexual? And she's like, does it look sexual? But really, Peter was spot on with that call.
But I don't necessarily know if it is sexual. Yes, sex can be a part of it, but I think this is how they're intimate with each other.
Yeah.
You know, as you know, other couples would do maybe something different. This is how they express that intimacy. So I don't think that scene was inherently sexual.
The declaration of love.
Yeah.
So the next day, what's she doing in that chair, Danielle? Because she'd been there all night.
She pissed. I'm sure she shit too. You just see the drip, drip, drips. Now, the part of this that I don't understand is this. I guess Peter tells his family and her family what, like, she's just fucking sitting there. But like,
there's a whole party.
Everybody is there. And what I was confused about is like, how does everyone figure out what she's doing? Like,
that they're just totally cool and hanging out.
Right. His ex-wife comes. Like, what is happening here?
It's and like they're ordering in food and stuff and just like, let's play board games while she sits at that desk and pisses on herself.
Super weird. And then the news comes and talks about her. Like, so this fucker watches her for days. I'm guessing it's days. I don't know how long she's there as she sits in her own piss. He's at home, tortured,
Oh, it
And-
says day 3 of the Lee Holloway hunger strike.
Oh my God. So yeah, she's not eating. Her mom even tried to bring like 3 peas and a piece of mashed potatoes, a scoop of mashed potatoes. So yeah, it's interesting that the different people that come and sit with her,
Yeah.
the
Well,
different
and
things
she-
that they say.
Yes. So she does say that she's always suffered, but now she's not so scared because she found someone to feel with
Yeah.
instead of being this island by herself.
I think what her dad says to her is very sweet. I think.
Do you have what he said? I have
Go
it.
ahead.
Oh, so her dad tells her, your soul and body are yours to do with what you wish. So if this is what you need to do, then you do this.
Very supportive. And he's also been sober. So that's really good. Yeah. Everybody is very encouraging. Peter's parents are like not happy. The mom's like, you better dry clean that dress. I'm like, girl, that shit is reeked and pissed. You don't want that back. I'm sure Peter is destroyed, as he should be, because regardless, he wasn't a bad guy.
Yeah. And then Mr. Gray, you see him kind of wrestling with his own demons. He's like sleeping on the floor, trying to get comfy, like try to feel something different, and nothing's working. So he drives up, and she's actually asleep. He wakes her up and picks her up and carries her out of the office. Then
No, they're upstairs. There's an upstairs part apparently of the
right.
office.
So he carries her out of his office.
Oh, right.
And all of a sudden there's like this botanical bedroom upstairs.
He has a greenhouse.
Red room of pain,
Yeah.
but it's a greenhouse of pain.
Well, this is what the director was saying, that like he wanted to add some of the natural, flowers and stuff like that to kind of balance out some of the dark themes. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. So there's a bathtub. He's like washing the piss away.
There's nothing sexier than scenes where a man is bathing and washing a woman's hair. If there's a kink, that's mine. I'm very
That
much
bathtub is gorgeous.
It's
like a gold gilded clawfoot tub, but it's not a regular clawfoot tub. It's like higher on one end and lower on the other.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Yeah. So like he is like drying her off. We get visuals of all her scars. Like he's just taking her in for who she is. And then she does say, for the first time in my life, I felt beautiful and he loves me back. And then we get this was the other part that I didn't quite enjoy. Like these very schoolgirl knee highs that she's in.
And yeah, not sure what that's about. We find out that they get married.
Mm-hmm. They like to bone in the woods.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And they didn't have like a long honeymoon or anything like that. And then you see them she says that pretty much their stuff rolls into like everyday scenarios. Because he does say to her before she does her hunger strike that like, we can't do this shit 24/7, 365 days a year. And she's like, the hell we can't.
And then you do see the very last scene is like her being kind of like Susie Homemaker, but she knows how to spice it up. So she like puts a dead cockroach in the bed. So when he gets home.
That's terms of divorce for me. Okay. Again, not judging anyone's kink, but we already know Jackie
Danielle
also
doesn't do bugs.
Jackie learned this weekend that this is a hereditary trait because what did Serena say?
Serena adamant. So Serena loves horror. She's our little spooky doll, and I love her for it. But she said, I can't watch Men in Black because of the bugs.
Yeah, we went to Halloween Horror Nights, and there was supposedly a haunted house that was bug themed, and I already was like, hell no. My sister was like, absolutely not.
Yeah. We did not get to enjoy that haunted house.
I don't think it existed.
It most certainly did. Anyway, and that is the secretary. So any other fun facts we want to dive into?
So this movie's supposed to take place in Florida. Clearly it was filmed in California because I was like, Florida where?
The rain did not feel like Florida rain.
No, not at all. I did think it's funny that on the box or the posters for this movie, there were two. And there's one that shows James and Maggie. And then there's another one of a model that you just see from behind bending over. And Maggie Gyllenhaal said that the model was not of her, but coincidentally, it was someone who was dating her ex-boyfriend. Look, if I'm the star of the movie,
I'm bending over.
No. And I find out that the bitch that you're taking pictures of bending over is fucking my ex-boyfriend. I'm getting the bitch fired. We get a new model. There's no way that I'm going to be associating this memory for the rest of every time I look at this movie.
So moving on from that.
I'm just saying.
Could you imagine Gwyneth Paltrow in this role?
No.
I think she's way too uptight. Personally.
I don't think I've seen her in quirky roles and I've seen her do some unconventional rom-coms that I actually enjoy, but I just don't think that I don't know if she could have been as vulnerable. Yes. And I don't think she would have had the same chemistry with James Spader.
There is an aloofness to her that I don't think would have been able to be toned down to be Lee in this movie.
Yeah. No, not at all. Glad that didn't happen.
Yeah. So like we said earlier, the boss's name is Mr. Gray. Obviously, we all know that there's also a book called 50 Shades of Grey, and both the book and the movie deal with this. Yeah. So there is a tagline now for the movie that is the original Mr. Gray, which I thought was hilarious.
Honestly, the writer of this movie should sue the fuck out of them because clearly, I think it's just because it's not mainstream enough, but yeah, come on, too many similarities.
Yeah. And the producers accidentally got a permit for the wrong park where Lee walks home. So the on-set producer had to distract the local law enforcement that showed up while the scenes were being filmed.
So that person was probably getting fired for messing that up. All right, well, before we get into our new ratings, don't forget to hit us up at No More Late Fees on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. If you have any feedback, questions, anything, hit us up on social. All right, I guess we'll start with me. What do I think? I still own this bitch, so well, it's not one that I'm going to watch like every day, but it used to be a comfort movie for me. And I don't hate it. I still like it a lot. It's weird, but it's my kind of weird, so it's fine.
For me, I find James Spader off-putting.
I know it's hard.
I do really think that Maggie Gyllenhaal was fantastic in this movie, and for what it was, James Spader did do really well because it feels very on brand for him, but it is not something that I'm probably going to rewatch. Even if someone was like, "Oh, I've never seen that movie," I'm like, "Oh, it's good for a one watch," but yeah, I'm not going to sit down and be like, let's watch this shit like I would with like Demon Knight. So I'm going to go 2-day rental because it's not terrible. It's just not something that's going to be in my revolution of movies.
Yeah, I think for me, this is definitely just more nostalgia than anything.
Yeah. Well, if you have any input to add to our secretary conversation, hit us up at our quick drop 909-601-6653, 909-601 and MLF. Please call in. We haven't had a quick drop in quite a while. And I know plenty of people that are like, yeah, I always think about calling in and then I don't. So this is please call in. I think it was Stephanie. Is it Stephanie or was it someone else that was like, I don't want to call in because I don't always want it to be me. I don't care if it's the same person calling in every week. We'll post that shit, especially if you're fun. Anyway, you can twat us at the Twitters leave a message at our Anchor FM account and you can be featured on a future episode.
And join us next week as we bitty bitty bomb our way through Selena with Stephanie.
Stephanie, please call into the quick drop. And as always, be kind and rewind.